Hi, friends. How are you? Welcome to another weekly edition of Ask Me Anything. This is our opportunity to show up and connect. I have made the commitment to answer questions, to serve you well, and to make sure that you feel supported. So, what we're going to do is we're going to hop into some questions that have been asked, and then we're going to get into some time to answer your questions. Let's dive in from our first question from Charmy, which was upvoted 7 times. Do we put hashtags in the description for IGTV? Are they searchable on IGTV? Also, while writing the title for our IG videos, do you think we should use more SEO type terms rather than what the video is actually about? For example, Georgia O'Keeffe inspired poppies, or should I write elementary art lessons for kids? I teach art to kids, and I've been putting the process on videos on my IGTV. Boom. I absolutely love this. Now, what I want to make sure and get into is start off with the basics, because Charmy asked 3 questions, but 7 people upvoted it, so it showed that people really want to get in. So let's lay the framework. Hashtags on IGTV work the same as they do across Instagram, but I want to make a note of something. IGTV hashtags highlight the video option first. So, for instance, if you go to my IGTV, you will see in one of my recent videos that I hashtag girl boss, because I spoke in Los Angeles at a girl boss event. When I click on hashtag girl boss in IGTV, it takes me to the hashtags on Instagram. But here's a small difference, is that when you click on a hashtag from IGTV, the first option it shows is videos using that particular hashtag. So it will give you the option. Since you clicked on videos from IGTV, since you clicked on a hashtag from IGTV, Instagram is assuming you want to see more videos. But just to make sure, you're going to have to click on that and say, I want to see more videos with this particular hashtag. But if you scroll down, you're right in the regular hashtag search, which I think is so smart. I could not say how much I thought that aspect of using hashtags in IGTV was so thoughtful and so forward thinking to how people are using it. Charmy also asked the following question. How should we title our videos? Should we title them for SEO purposes? Well, on Instagram, there isn't really SEO, at least not right now and not in the foreseeable future. So I happen to think that you want your video title to really get to the main thing as to why somebody would watch. So you have to ask yourself, does my dream customer, so Charmy teaches art to kids, if there's a mom on Instagram and it's just Georgia O'Keeffe inspired poppies, I don't know if a mom would click on that. But how to paint poppies for your 4-year-old? Oh, now it's something a little bit different. So when it comes to hashtags, they work the same across Instagram. When you click on a hashtag from IGTV, it will take you to the hashtag search area, but it'll give you the option to click on videos. And when it comes to titling your videos for IGTV, you want something that will quickly tell people what the video is about and catch their attention. If you want your questions asked, just leave them here and I will get to them nice and live. Frankie said, just listen to your podcast with James Wedmore. They were so good. Could you unpack the concept that you were talking about there on some of the differences between a CEO and an entrepreneur? So let's bring everybody up to date. I have a mentor and his name is James Wedmore. We've grown our businesses together and he's really helped give me insights. He has a popular podcast called Mind Your Business. He said, Jasmine, can we do Jasmine Star Week on the podcast? And I was like, what does that mean? Like a whole week of podcast? Yes, y'all. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I had a podcast with him. You can find them at Reprogramming Failure. That was 265. Podcast 266 was How to Save a Failed Launch, where I get into a lot of specifics. And 267 was How to Sell on Instagram. In one of those podcasts, it was the first podcast, 265. I talked about how in my entrepreneurial journey, I loved being an entrepreneur. If you love being an entrepreneur, can you let me know that I'm not alone? Could you give me hearts or give me a high five? Because I want to make sure that what I'm talking right now actually resonates with you, right? I only want to talk about things that you care about. So I have been an entrepreneur. And in this podcast, I had said that in 2019, there was a big shift in my life. And I felt like I was changing from an entrepreneur to a CEO. And Frankie is saying, Jasmine, when you talked about that, what were the differences between being a CEO and an entrepreneur? Now, in my heart of hearts, I will always be an entrepreneur. There is nothing wrong or against being an entrepreneur. I think at this point in my career, I have to make a few changes. So let's talk about the definition from my perspective of how I behaved as an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur starts with a passion, something you're excited about. An entrepreneur tries a variety of approaches, things that could work, testing, what do I do, where do I go? An entrepreneur prefers doing things on her or his own. And an entrepreneur does more doing than thinking. Now, as an entrepreneur, this is what I definitely go through 1,000 times over. It's like, well, nobody can really do it like me, so I should do it. And nobody does it as fast as me, so I should do it. Another way that an entrepreneur thinks that, oh, it's going to take me so long to train somebody to do something that I do, let me just do it so that I can get it done faster. I love being an entrepreneur because I get to move fast. I'm a high functioner. I don't have to respond to people. I don't have to slow down. It's go. I love testing. I love figuring it out. I love getting passionate. I love that. But this year, as I really made the decision to scale Social Curator, I could not get the business as big as it needed to be acting like an entrepreneur. I had to act like a CEO. Now, if you're here and being like, Jasmine, how does a CEO act? Well, so far, I'm only a few months into this stuff, but this is what I've discovered as the main points of differentiation. A CEO starts with a vision. Now, I want to take a step back. A vision. This is not, I want to have a business. This is how many lives I want to impact. This is how a community is going to come together. This is what I'm going to do to live an outsized dream of what I want to do. So a CEO starts with a vision and then creates a strategy. We're not guessing anymore. We're saying, based on our experience, this is what's going to happen. A CEO builds a team, knowing that it's going to take so long, okay? I did not think I was going to build a team. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting here now and I'm saying, oh my goodness, we have a team of 13 people. Why? Because I have a vision that's bigger than me. So right now, I'm in a slow down time in my business. I want to grow. I want to go. I want to fire, and I can't. We're training a whole team up to actually live an outside dream. And a CEO does more thinking than doing. When we started Social Curator, I was doing all of the copywriting, all of the photos, all of the marketing, all of the videos. I was like, I got this, guys. I got this. And then all of a sudden, I realized I only have a certain amount of time in a day and I can't get it all done. I couldn't grow as fast as I wanted. So I brought in a team of photographers. I brought in copywriters. Now I'm still doing all of the marketing plans. I'm still doing all the videos, but I'm having people help me do it so that we could do it faster. But we have to slow down and I have to teach a team before we could speed up. So the difference between being an entrepreneur is moving fast, doing it on your own, understanding you're the best at what you do. You're a shot caller, dreamcaster, you're testing things. You're not sure what's really going to work, but you're okay with that. A CEO says, I'm going to reverse engineer. I see the dream in the future. How do I need to work backwards from that point? I have to build a team. And I need to take myself out of the process so I can tell the team, this is the process, this is where we're going. I hope that helps. That's going to be like a main thing, 100% a main thing for me. Shout out to Frankie, who says this is so encouraging. She asked the question and she's watching live. We're so early in our business, but that's the goal. Build a team, delegate, because this is bigger than me and my business partner. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. If you have big dreams, you're built to be an entrepreneur. If you have dreams that are outside of your capacity, and you're working towards them. Now, here's the thing. I have been an entrepreneur for 13 years. It's not like you're like, I'm CEO in a year. It's really understanding that all the experience that you've built up being an entrepreneur multiple times leads you to ultimately where you want to go. You're not in a rush, baby boo. You're right on time. Let's get into another question. Chow asked, what video app is good for editing video? What kind of setting and file format should it be saved at? Okay, so speaking of being in the game 13 years, I want to make sure that I say something real quick. I share videos on YouTube. I share videos on Instagram and on Facebook and on LinkedIn. And lately, I have been seeing people say, oh, well, she has a video crew. That's what she does. And that is the truth. But you want to know how I created videos for 12 years? iMovie, which is free, comes on my computer. And when I edited videos from my phone, I used an app called Video Shop. 12 years of editing videos on iMovie that is free. And editing movies on my phone, which I still do. My husband and I, JD, my business partner, this past weekend we had the opportunity to walk in the Children's Hospital of Orange County. We did a 5K at Disneyland, and we couldn't bring cameras in, so we just had our phones. And I'm going to be editing and creating a video based on iPhone footage from that day. You got to take what you have and you have to make it work. Now, I can say that if you are doing high level video production, a great video editing program is Adobe Premiere. That's 100%. If you have budget, you're working with a team, or you're very creative and that's like your outlet, Adobe Premiere would be great. You want to be exporting it specifically for YouTube at the highest resolution, and you're going to be saving it as an MP4. Okay, we're going to get into some live questions right now because we do have some other pre-asked questions, but I want to make sure that the people who are showing up right about now are served well. Hope, I'm so afraid to grow. I am keeping the vision to myself. Trust is a big issue. Do you have tips on how to bring in quality people? Hope, you will attract to your team exactly who you need when you know what you need. I just got off a phone call right now with my executive project manager, and she said, Jasmine, we need to identify the gaps in the business so that we can hire specifically people that are best suited for that particular thing. And I thought that was so insightful. So I'm going to pass on the information that Jade gave me. I need to take a step back and say, where are the gaps in my business? So Hope, you're probably sitting here being like, listen, I don't have time to offer the customer support that I need. Great. So then how do you want your customer support representative to best communicate with your customers or clients? Or you might be saying, you know what, like I have products and I can't fulfill them fast enough. I really just need somebody to come in 3 hours a week and package everything beautifully. Oh, well, great. Now you know how to create a job description for somebody who wants a part-time job, who has to be local, who wants 3 hours a week with attention to detail and wants to be part of a growing team. Oh, actually, speaking of Jade, she's one of our newer hires. And if you want to see the job description that I had put out, you can go to jasminestar.com/team. We're not hiring for that position anymore, but you can read the job description that we had that ultimately attracted Jade. And I'm just really thankful that because we were so specific with what we were looking for, she read that and she knew immediately, this is where I'm supposed to be, which is really freaking incredible. So I loved that question. Thank you for asking, Hope. Johanna asked, I feel like I'm heading to the CEO level. My mission is way bigger than me. Yes, you are, Queen. Yes, you are. So now that you know the differences between being an entrepreneur and a CEO, you need to, number one, start with a vision that's bigger than you. And you need to be able to strategy. And I believe, and I know people will probably get pissed off or disagree with me, but I believe that you really only know how to build strategy when you've made a lot of mistakes and you've tested the waters and you've started and completed a bunch of projects. Like I now am very proud of the title. When people introduce me, they say, Jasmine is a photographer and a business strategist. I'm very proud of that title because strategy is something that never came to me up until year after year after year. I was done testing. I had accomplished successful projects, and I looked back and say, oh, I have had a roadmap that empowers me to be strategic. So a CEO starts with a vision, builds out a strategy, and then builds a team to understand that the team is empowering you to do bigger things that need to ultimately be accomplished. I absolutely love that. Okay, let's get into a question from Alex Shilley. Once upon a time, the goal for social media marketing was to drive people to the website for more info. Is this still the end goal? And how do we do this by being social? Okay, so yes, there was a time in social media, let's go back like maybe 8 to 9 years, where social media was just people, only people talking about what they were doing on a daily basis. It was not business driven. There was like zero business happening on like Facebook in the early days when it started out with college students. And there was like zero business stuff happening in like 2013 when Instagram first came out, and people were like, photos from your phone? What is this, right? It was just zero business capacity. So when people first started introducing social media marketing, yeah, the objective was get people over to your website or get people over to your blog, because this right here is a 100% social. But then what happens is that people got tired of clicking away from the platform. People got tired of clicking away from Facebook, away from Instagram. And so what has happened is that the clicks from a social platform to a website really dropped. And so what does that show you? What does that behavior, what does that human action show you? Is that 9 times out of 10, marketing will exist on a platform. So this means that whenever I market, now I want to make sure, I say this again, so bear with me. I say this often. You are doing one of 3 things on social media at all times. You are building a brand, you are marketing, or you are selling. 80% of what you do on social media for your business should be branding and marketing. What is branding? Branding is creating an experience. This is empowering a person to know that they know, like, and trust you. You don't expect anything. You're just giving them value and benefits. You're keeping it social. Marketing is sharing valuable information in relation to your business. So if you make jewelry, you're giving helpful tips on how to style it, how to clean it, the best way to give gifts. You're not selling. Selling is when you're on the platform saying, hey, go and buy the thing that I'm selling. This should be done as rarely as possible because you burn your audience. Every time I ask you to click on a link, every time I ask you to invest in Social Curator, every time I ask you to sign up for a webinar, that's a hard sell. I want to do that as little as possible. 80% of what I do on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter is branding and marketing. So 9 times out of 10, what I'm sharing is going to be on the platform so people can engage on the platform. When you say marketing exists elsewhere, that means it's an outside link that you want somebody to go to, and it's like you do that as rarely as possible so that your audience trusts you and knows that you're going to deliver to them on the platform of their choice. Now what we're going to do is get into some Q&A. It's Q&A time. So leave your questions here. Let me know how it's going. It also, it's super helpful for me. It's like as we're giving a question, if you guys like it or heart it, that shows myself and the team what we should be building out content for. So help us help you, or leave a comment and say, I really like this question, or this is really helpful. Because then what I can go back is when I come back on creating a video for YouTube, or when I come back for Facebook Live, I can literally create content in a deeper way based on what you want to know. So hook a sister up. Talk back to me. Okay, Victoria. How to become a CEO when you lack finances? I lose myself doing the things that I just don't enjoy but can't hire out yet. Then Victoria, you're an entrepreneur. That's amazing. Congratulations. I spent about 13 years being an entrepreneur. I was in that exact situation, right? Like I couldn't afford to hire out. But I started understanding early on the value of outsourcing things that didn't bring me joy in my business. So as a photographer, I love shooting. I love creating photographs. What I didn't like doing was editing hundreds of photos afterwards. I only wanted to edit the photos that I wanted to edit, that I liked, that I wanted to add to my portfolio and add to the favorites for my clients. I realized that I was wasting time doing things I didn't like in my business, editing hundreds of photos, so I outsourced that. That means that I wasn't hiring an employee, I was paying a third-party editing company to edit those photos. Why? It would give me more time to do things in my business that I loved. For over a decade, it was just me running my business, and JD is my business partner. It was just the two of us for 11 years before we hired somebody. So take that and understand that it's the long game, and it's all good, and you never have to apologize. So if you can't afford to hire an employee, you definitely should be working into your finances, finding a way to outsource things that do not bring you joy. Lori Tripaldi, I love your face. Hey Jasmine, I'm just curious how you would recommend approaching influencers to help market your product. Just straight up no fear DM or a more subtle approach? It's a little scary. Okay, so there is no reason to be scared. Okay. I feel like I have like 10,000 things to talk about when it comes to Instagram and Facebook and influencer marketing, but let's focus on Lori's exact question. She's like, how do I ask them for it? Do I just go in and be like, hey, do you want to be an influencer? And my answer is no, it doesn't work that way. Or maybe it works like 1 out of 1,000,000 times, but who wants to send 1,000,000 DMs? I will tell you that in my Instagram DM, I get around, 10 or 20 DMs a day saying, hey girl, I would love for you to try my shampoo. Hey friend, looks like you're enjoying smoothies. I'd love for you to promote my protein powder. And I'm like, if you don't personalize the DM for me, it's an automatic no, because I just feel like it's a cold call. If you're asking me to promote your business and I don't know you and I don't know your business, it's a no. Because why am I going to associate my brand with your brand if I don't know what you do? So how then could Lori and anybody else watching start approaching other people, influencers or people with good accounts, to talk about their business? You act like a human on the internet. You simply follow the people who you want to be an influencer for your company. So you follow them. And then every time you see a post from them, you like it. And every time you see a post from them, you leave a comment more than 4 words. And you go out of their way to watch every Instagram story. And you respond to them. If they have a poll, you vote. If they have a question, you answer. If they're on vacation and they're like, oh, I'm here with like my little baby, and you have a baby the same age, and say, hey, did you know that there's a copper tone 110 coverage SPF for your baby? Here's a link on Amazon. Thought you might enjoy. You might not be selling anything related to sunblock or babies or vacations, but you are starting a conversation human to human to say, hey, I see you and I care and I think you're rad. And when that person starts talking back, and over time you start building a relationship, and people say, Jasmine, when you say over time, how long does that take? It depends how active you are with that person. It could take anywhere from 3 weeks to 3 months. How deep are you going to focus on that influencer? That's my answer. When I think about also comes to influencers, there's this temptation to say that influencers have 20,000 or 40,000 or 100,000, but there's a lot of value in micro influencers. Micro influencers have around 4,000 to 5,000 followers, but their followers roll deep. Like their engagement is through the roof. People love them and know them and like them. And it's easier to get the attention and start a conversation with a micro influencer than it is with a bigger influencer. And you would be really surprised. It's, in my opinion, just straight out, I think that 10 micro influencers with 5,000 followers is better than one massive influencer with 50,000 followers. I just do. It takes more work to cultivate those relationships. But the return on investment, in my opinion, hands down, micro-influencers are where it's going to be. Okay, Jen Lynn, how do you know your team is good? I always feel like I've built teams, but they've walked away. I've come to believe that you know you have a good team when every morning you wake up and you're like, I'm so excited to face issues, problems, trials, adventures with this group of people. Like, my goal is to wake up and say, whatever comes my way this week, I'm so happy to be doing it with these people. That's when you know you have a good team. If you wake up and there's somebody in your team who's dragging you down and be like, oh God, oh no. Like the emails that I get from them or the Slack messages that I get from them, like that's a sign in your gut that they're not a good fit. JD and I are hosting a team retreat here in Newport Beach in October, and we are so excited. We have a virtual team. Nobody lives in Orange County. We have people that live in New York and Philadelphia and Montana and Arizona and Chicago, and they're all coming to Newport Beach. And I could not be more excited to hang out with people that I'm like, okay guys, how big are we gonna dream this weekend? What are we gonna do? And yeah, there's gonna be margaritas and guacamole, you know what I'm saying? There's gonna be those things. But it's also going to be like, I'm so happy that we get to connect. You know you have a good team when you're excited to hang out with them for a weekend, to build a business, build a dream, and figure out how many lives can we impact? How many people's businesses can we say we will make you stronger, smarter, and more ready for you to accomplish your dream? Because the vision behind Social Curator, yeah, we provide sources for you to show up on social media every single day. We have photos and captions and group coaching and mentorship and networking. We provide all of that. That's what Social Curator is. But what's the mission behind Social Curator? The mission is what I want the team to get behind. They are not behind Jasmine Star. They're not behind Social Curator. They're behind the mission. And the mission is to empower people to believe that an impossible dream for you is actually possible when you have the resources and the tools. So you have a business and you have this dream that you're like, everybody thinks I'm crazy. Good. Good that people think you're crazy. Good that people think it's impossible. Because when you accomplish it, other people will look at you and be like, dang, he did it. Dang, she did it. And we, as a team, are being like, you got this. Show up. You got this. Here are the tools. No excuses. No excuses. No excuses. It's impossible until somebody does it. And we have the audacity to believe that you can do it. Truth. Facts. I'm feeling in the spirit of Social Curator right now. Preaching up at her. Wendy Nicholson. Any advice for marketing a podcast, especially if it's audio only? Looking for the best ways to marry a few ideas at once. Wendy? Hey, Wendy, can you let me know, are you a member of Social Curator? JD, can you watch for Wendy's comment if she responds? If you're a member of Social Curator, I'm launching a podcast. I haven't been really public about it. Launching a podcast in October. And for people on the inside of Social Curator, I will be giving a complete breakdown of our marketing podcast plan when it's ready. We're working on the marketing launch plan for the podcast right now with my team. So I'm obviously not going to share it because I don't even know where it is, but I'm going to give a full debrief on the inside of Social Curator. We go live. We're going to do coaching because people might not be wanting to create a podcast now, but maybe in the future, or maybe they can look at how I marketed the podcast and say, hey, that would probably work really well for the business that I'm building. So, Wendy, I hope to see you on the inside. Stephanie Blanc. Hey, Jasmine. How did you find your team members? Good. Okay, hold on. Stephanie, hang on, I'll get back to you. Wendy Nicholson said, yes, she's a member. She's an OG. You're an original gangster of the SC crew. Hey. Okay, Wendy, I'll see you on the inside, boo-boo. And if I forget, just message me on the inside of the group or hit me up on Instagram DM and be like, this is your reminder. We're working on it. And I can't wait to share it because it's taking us a lot of time and work and energy, but we really want to do it well. We want to launch well. We want to look back and say, we did the best we could with the tools that we had, even though we don't really know what we're doing. We're literally making it up as we go. So there's that. Stephanie, how did you find your team members? Well, our very first team member, she came to an in-person event. We were looking for an associate photographer for our photography business, and her name is Tammy. She was employee number 1. You can find her on Instagram at Tammy Page. She started off just as an associate for us. She would come shooting with us, and then she would help with the editing and the organizing, just a little bit behind the scenes from the photography perspective. And then as the business grew and as we created Social Curator, she's now been elevated to our creative director for all of Social Curator. So she's just killing the game, and she's the one who's working with the photographer team, coaching them, getting them ready, talking about the shoots that we're doing, and how we're diversifying the business. So our second team member was recommended. Like, you would be so surprised that when you're having conversations with people and you're like, hey, I'm looking for X, I'm looking for a customer support representative, I'm looking for somebody to handle my online support tickets, I'm looking for a personal assistant to help walk my dog when I'm busy working. You just start asking people and people show up for you. So that's how we found our second team member. And our third team member, I'm just going to walk you through the first three so you can see the ways in which they come to us. Our third team member, we hired her because we have a private Facebook group for Social Curator, and I wasn't sure who I would be able to bring in as like the lead of our community. And there was a girl who literally DM'd me every 3 days on Instagram. And she was like, Jasmine, I watched your Instagram live and I noticed this. Here are 3 tips of what I think. Jasmine, I watched you on your Facebook live and these are the 3 commonly asked questions. Here's the answers that you always give. It might be a really great video for you to make. She would come back up with me, or she would email me, and then I would have like an autoresponder, and she would like DM me and say, hey, just FYI, your autoresponder has the wrong dates. And at first I was like, who is this girl? Like, skirt? Like, why are you coming at me like this all the time? But she was so smart. She was so humble. She showed that she was down for the Social Curator community, that when we decided to launch our Facebook group, JD, my business partner, my husband, was like, who are we going to hire? And I was like, Nikki. Like, she was so in the game. She was following exactly what I was doing. She was offering solutions. She was offering insight. She was caring about the business in such a big way that I was like, I don't even have to make this job public. She's so balking up in my ear, and she's so talented. It was clear that she belonged on our team. That's my dog, and he's barking at the FedEx guy. Leah Hall. What is the best way to add coaching and photography as my brand niche for creative female entrepreneurs? I'd love to keep it as one account. Do you recommend 2? If your customer is one and the same, if your coaching client and your photography client are one and the same, you think that they would buy both of those things, then one Instagram account is fine. If you think that you have 2 different customers, like let's say you're part of a direct seller MLM and it's hair care and you also sell photography, I think that you should be dividing those 2 accounts out, because the way that you talk about your business on Instagram is ultimately going to attract more of the followers. But if they're confused as to why you're selling shampoo or essential oils and you're also selling like car photography, that confusion results in not being able to book clients on social media. So if it's the same end consumer, then yes, one account is fine. For those of you guys who show up, turn up, and live it on up here on these live chats, I appreciate you guys. I go live every single week on Wednesday. I source questions on my Facebook page. You can find my Facebook page at Jasmine Star. You can find me on Instagram at Jasmine Star, and Twitter and YouTube. I am just here to create content that makes sense for you. If you happen to like anything in particular, please always leave a comment. Let us know, because the content is never about me. I just want to show up and serve you and let you know that I am here to answer questions that you find the most valuable. I look forward to connecting on all social platforms. I will see y'all next week. Oh, okay, I was going to say something, but we'll keep it a secret. Hey, keep you on your toes. All right, guys, I'll see you guys next week. Have a